And so you just try to be sensitive to that moment. You know, you don't want to overplay. You try to listen to the Lord. You get in, you get out. And
let me interject. Randy does that so well. In the fact, sometimes, I mean, he may not play at all. He'll stand there during the whole song, and then the worship leader, Paul, will turn to Randy like, "Blow now," you know, and he wants Randy's like, "Okay." Just waiting for the command or the moment where it has its place and the significance of the declaration of what a shofar blast, what a clarion call would do in the atmosphere, so that it becomes a significant moment when you do that, which I really appreciate about your discernment with that. So other things like you feel like, it's different things, like sometimes it's celebration, and I hear this when you're playing, sometimes it's a declaration of the presence of the Lord, sometimes it's a call to battle, sometimes, so give us a little insight.
Well, there's times when it's just called to assemble, and a lot of times leadership will have me come in and will want me to play to start the service. And so there's in rabbinic Judaism, in those traditions, there's defined calls, but only when you go to the Talmud and the Mishnah and those writings like that do you find anything defined. In the Bible, you know, the trumpet is spoken about quite a bit, but as far as defining calls, it's not really there.
We don't have a recording of what they were doing.
Right.
They did something.
Right. So anyway, you just try to be sensitive to the moment and go with it. There's times when the Lord will just declare peace over the place, and those are just real straight melodic things. And other times, probably my favorite vein is the warring vein, and the calls are much more aggressive, and then there's times where we're just breaking things. Those are just kind of a different type of sound. But you know, the shofar was first introduced at Mount Sinai, and then throughout the history of the 12 tribes, the Jewish people, it was sounded to initiate the festivals, the feast days. It was sounded to initiate war. It was a calling instrument all the way around. Now the clarion call, the instrument that you guys are referring to as the thin, that was a really long trumpet. I think they call them
Cornholes, like that. The ones you almost see like in the old medieval in the castle, and they're long, thin.
There's a name for them. I can't remember what it is, but that was interesting. But they sounded both the silver trumpet. That's really in reference to the silver trumpet of the Bible. They were very long trumpets, no valves. But then they also the shofar was also it was the other trumpet, and they each had a specific purpose. I'm not real sure what the purpose of the silver trumpets were. I know they were an instrument to initiate gatherings and as well.
Almost at that, the gatherings and an arrival, and a lot of times, royalties is arriving. So maybe
fanfare.
Yeah,
and that's
fanfare.
the same way in the Old Testament where the priest went before the ark blowing the shofar. The call.
Right, the priests always accompanied the Ark of the Covenant blowing shofars. And
well, you mind? I think we want to declare.